Before we begin, let me ask you something important. How much of your life do people really need to know? We live in a world where sharing is encouraged, rewarded, and even expected. We post our thoughts, our struggles, our plans, and our progress almost automatically. But what if I told you that some of the biggest reasons people lose focus, lose momentum, and lose peace have nothing to do with lack of talent or effort, and everything to do with saying too much too soon to the wrong people? Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because their energy leaks, their confidence leaks, their direction leaks, and it leaks through conversations that never should have happened. Words are powerful. Once spoken, they can't be taken back. They shape how others see you and, more dangerously, how you begin to see yourself. This speech is not about becoming secretive or disconnected. It's about becoming intentional. It's about understanding that privacy is a form of self-respect, and silence can be a competitive advantage. There are certain personal things that, when protected, grow stronger. When exposed, they weaken. If you've ever shared a plan and suddenly felt less motivated, if you've ever opened up and later regretted it, if you've ever celebrated too early and watched momentum disappear, then stay with me till the end of this video. What you're about to hear may change the way you speak, the way you trust, and the way you move through life, because sometimes the fastest way to level up is not by doing more, but by sharing less. Your long-term vision and next moves are powerful because they shape the direction of your life. But that power weakens the moment you share them too early. When a vision is still forming, it needs protection, not applause. Most people think talking about goals creates accountability, but in reality, it often creates comfort without progress. The brain cannot clearly distinguish between the reward of achievement and the reward of recognition. So when you talk about a future win, your mind feels a false sense of accomplishment. That emotional reward reduces urgency, lowers discipline, and slows execution. What should have been fuel for action turns into a substitute for action. Sharing your next moves also opens the door to unnecessary opinions. Even well-meaning people project their fears, limitations, and past failures onto your ideas. They question timelines, highlight risks, and suggest safer alternatives. Over time, this external noise creates internal confusion. You start adjusting a clear vision to make others comfortable instead of making it effective. Vision requires certainty. And certainty is fragile in the early stages. Protecting it allows you to think boldly without negotiating with doubts that aren't even yours. There is also a strategic cost to oversharing. When people know your next move, they unconsciously react. Some compete, some copy, some discourage, and some quietly hope you fail. None of that helps you execute better. Momentum thrives in isolation. The less people know, the fewer variables you need to manage. Silence keeps your energy focused on building instead of explaining. Another hidden danger is emotional attachment to the idea rather than the process. Talking about a vision makes it feel real before it's earned. When challenges show up, the gap between the imagined future and the difficult present becomes frustrating. Many people quit not because the vision was wrong, but because they talked about it so much that reality felt disappointing in comparison. Keeping plans private forces you to fall in love with the work, not the story. Successful execution often looks boring from the outside. Quiet mornings, repetitive systems, and consistent effort don't impress people in conversation, but they compound results over time. When you let results speak first, they carry authority. Results don't invite debate, they create respect. Vision shared too early invites commentary, but vision revealed through outcomes creates influence. Protecting your long-term vision is not about isolation or secrecy driven by fear. It is about discipline, clarity, and respect for the process. The strongest moves are built silently and revealed only when they are undeniable. Your financial details and income sources are deeply personal because money influences how people perceive, judge, and interact with you. The moment others know what you earn, save, or invest, relationships begin to shift in subtle but powerful ways. Conversations change tone, expectations quietly rise, and comparisons start forming even when no one speaks them out loud. What was once a genuine connection can turn into competition, dependency, or silent resentment. Keeping financial information private protects the emotional balance of your relationships and allows them to remain authentic rather than transactional. Sharing income details also creates unnecessary pressure. When people know your numbers, they often attach assumptions to them. If you earn more, they expect generosity, support, or constant availability. If you earn less, they may question your decisions, offer unsolicited advice, or quietly look down on your ambition. Either way, your financial reality becomes a label that limits how freely you can move and think. Privacy removes that mental weight and allows you to make decisions based on logic and long-term strategy instead of social approval. From a strategic perspective, money is leverage. Leverage only works when it is protected. Your income sources, savings, and investments represent optionality, the ability to say no, to walk away, or to take calculated risks. When too many people know your financial position, that leverage weakens. People feel entitled to opinions about how you should spend, invest, or give. Over time, this outside influence can push you into decisions that align with other people's comfort rather than your own goals. There is also a safety element that many people underestimate. Financial transparency in the wrong environment invites exploitation. It can attract requests, favors, loans, or emotional manipulation. Even well-intentioned individuals may start seeing you as a solution to their problems rather than as a person with boundaries. Protecting your financial privacy is not about being selfish. It is about preserving peace and preventing resentment on both sides. Money decisions require clarity, patience, and long-term thinking. When your finances are public, every move feels judged. This can lead to defensive choices, overconfidence, or unnecessary risk-taking to maintain an image. Silence gives you the freedom to build quietly, recover privately from mistakes, and grow without external pressure. The most secure financial positions are often held by people who say the least about them. Your weak moments and stories of self-doubt are deeply human, but sharing them without discernment can cost you more than you realize. Vulnerability is often praised as strength, yet strength depends on context and audience. When you reveal your insecurities to the wrong people, those moments stop being a bridge for connection and become a reference point for how you are perceived. First impressions fade, but doubts you share can linger in someone's mind long after you have outgrown them. Not everyone listens with empathy. Some people listen to collect information, not to support. They remember your uncertainty when you start to rise, and that memory shapes how they respond to your growth. Even subtle reactions matter. A delayed response, a cautious tone, or reduced confidence in you can slowly influence how you see yourself. Over time, external doubt reinforces internal doubt, creating a loop that limits your potential. There's also a psychological cost to repeatedly revisiting your weakest moments. When you speak about them often, you relive them emotionally. This reinforces the identity of someone who is struggling rather than someone who is evolving. Growth requires forward motion, but constant retelling of past doubts anchors you to an old version of yourself. Silence, in this case, is not denial. It is a deliberate choice to stop feeding an outdated narrative. Sharing insecurities too widely can also reduce personal accountability. When doubt is expressed publicly, it can turn into an excuse. The mind subtly justifies inaction by saying the struggle has already been acknowledged. This creates comfort without change. True growth often happens in quiet discomfort, where you confront your fears internally and take action despite them. This does not mean isolation or emotional suppression. The key is selectivity. A mentor, a trusted guide, or a proven support system can help you process doubt constructively. The difference lies in intention. Sharing to gain clarity and direction strengthens you. Sharing to seek validation or sympathy weakens you. Many people confuse the two and pay the price and lost momentum. Confidence is built through evidence, not explanation. The more you act, the less you need to justify or narrate your internal battles. When progress becomes visible, past doubts lose relevance. Protecting your weak moments allows you to transform them privately and reappear stronger without carrying labels assigned during your lowest points. Your family problems and internal conflicts carry emotional weight because they involve people you are deeply connected to, and sharing them carelessly can create damage that is difficult to repair. When private family matters are discussed openly, they often lose context. Outsiders hear fragments, form opinions, and choose sides without understanding the full history or emotional complexity behind the situation. What begins as an attempt to vent or seek relief can quickly turn into a distorted narrative that follows you and your family long after the issue has passed. Talking about family conflicts also changes how others view the people involved. Once a negative image is formed, it is hard to reverse. Even if forgiveness and healing happen privately, outsiders may continue to judge based on outdated information. This can quietly affect relationships, respect, and trust. Family bonds are not perfect, but they are personal, and exposing them publicly invites judgment that serves no real solution. There's also a hidden impact on your own mindset. Repeatedly discussing family problems reinforces the conflict in your mind. Instead of focusing on resolution, growth, or acceptance, you stay mentally attached to frustration and blame. This keeps emotional wounds open longer than necessary. Silence, when used wisely, creates space for reflection and emotional regulation, which are essential for handling sensitive relationships maturely. Another Another risk lies in misplaced advice. People often project their own experiences, traumas, and values onto your situation. Their guidance may be emotionally charged, extreme, or misaligned with your reality. Acting on such advice can escalate conflicts instead of resolving them. Family situations require nuanced patience and long-term thinking, not quick opinions from those who are not invested in the outcome. Privacy also protects dignity. Even when family members are wrong, exposing their flaws publicly can lead to regret later. Emotions change, perspectives shift, and relationships evolve. Words spoken in frustration can't be taken back, but their impact can last for years. Keeping issues contained within trusted boundaries allows for growth without public scars. This does not mean enduring harm in silence or avoiding support altogether. It means choosing the right channels. Professional guidance or a deeply trusted confidant provides perspective without gossip or judgment. Handling family conflicts with discretion demonstrates emotional intelligence and strength. The most stable individuals are not those without family problems, but those who resolve them quietly with intention and respect. Your daily routines and systems are the invisible structure behind your progress, and sharing them too freely can weaken their effectiveness. Routines work because they are personal, intentional, and built around your specific goals, energy levels, and constraints. When you start explaining them to others, you invite comparison and commentary. People question why you do things a certain way, suggest alternatives, or dismiss methods that don't match their lifestyle. Over time, this external input can cause you to second-guess systems that were actually working, leading to inconsistency and loss of momentum. Consistency thrives in simplicity. The more attention you draw to your routines, the more pressure you feel to perform them perfectly. This turns a functional system into a performance. Instead of focusing on execution, you start worrying about how it looks. Miss a day and you feel the urge to explain. Adjust a routine and you feel judged. This mental noise disrupts the quiet discipline that routines are meant to create. Sharing routines also creates expectations. When people know your schedule, they assume access to your time, they plan around it, interrupt it, or question it. Boundaries blur and your most productive hours become vulnerable to distractions. Protecting your routines is a way of protecting your focus. Focus, once broken repeatedly, is difficult to rebuild. There is also a psychological trap in talking too much about systems. Discussing productivity methods can feel productive without producing results. You begin to identify as someone who is disciplined rather than becoming disciplined through action. The system becomes a topic of conversation instead of a tool for progress. Real systems are meant to disappear into your life, not become part of your identity or social image. Another overlooked risk is premature optimization. When routines are shared early, they are often criticized before they have time to compound. Effective systems need repetition to reveal their value. Interference at an early stage can prevent a routine from maturing into a habit. Privacy gives you the space to refine quietly, adjust honestly, and commit long enough to see real outcomes. This does not mean you should never learn from others or share what works after success is established. It means the building phase requires isolation. Strong routines are not built through discussion, they are built through repetition. When results finally appear, the routine no longer needs explanation. It speaks through consistency, stability, and long-term progress. Your wins in progress are fragile because they exist in motion, not completion. And sharing them too early can quietly slow or even derail momentum. When something and a few offer subtle doubt disguised as concern. Even positive feedback can distort direction by pushing you to scale or change before the foundation is stable. Wins in progress need repetition, not reaction. They need protection from influence until they are strong enough to stand on their own. Sharing unfinished success also increases fear of failure. Once others know something is working, the pressure to maintain that image grows. Mistakes feel heavier and setbacks feel public even when they're private. This can lead to conservative decisions, avoidance of risk, or abandoning the process entirely to escape scrutiny. Silence removes that pressure and keeps experimentation safe. True confidence comes from sustainability, not moments. The strongest results are built quietly, repeated until they are predictable, and revealed only when they are undeniable. When success is consistent, it no longer needs validation. Protecting your wins in progress allows them to mature without distraction, interference, or expectation, turning temporary momentum into lasting achievement. In the end, this message is simple but powerful. Your life grows faster when it is protected. Not everything that matters needs to be explained, announced, or shared. Your vision needs silence to form. Your money needs privacy to stay clean. Your doubts need the right room to heal. Your family needs dignity. Your routines need consistency, and your wins need time to mature. When you stop giving everyone access to your inner world, your focus sharpens, your energy stabilizes, and your progress becomes unstoppable. The people who build extraordinary lives are not the loudest. They are the most disciplined about what they keep to themselves. Guard your personal space, move with intention, and let your results speak when the time is right. Good luck on your journey. Stay focused, stay grounded, and trust the process even when no one is watching. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your willingness to grow.